Hi, I'm Krista Rawson,
I'm Arielle Rawson.
and we've been working on a young adult novel together for the past year. We've worked on it. We've also have had a lot of travels, a lot of experiences together, and we thought we'd do this video just to talk about some of the issues with disability. And what we came up with was 3 questions. We're each going to ask each other 3 questions. We haven't discussed them at all, and so it's going to be a surprise to each of us. And hopefully we will answer some people's questions about disability.
Perfect.
Okay. So you want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. Do you think having a teenage daughter in a wheelchair was any different than raising an able-bodied teenager?
Yes, absolutely. I think it was different. Well, I think it's different because my eyes were open to things that were accessible wherever we went. All of a sudden, I had to look around at stores where the aisles too crowded, or how did people treat you was a big one. Different people saying different inappropriate things at certain times, or talking to me instead of you when you could have answered questions for yourself. And really, yeah, I just had to change my focus as far as I had to be more aware of how people interpreted you using a wheelchair.
Very nice.
So, good question. Okay, so my question is, when you were 10 years old was the accident. Did you notice right after the accident, when you went back to school and just in everyday life, did you notice at 10 years old, did people treat you differently? Were you aware of that?
Yes, I think I knew teachers seemed a little nicer than they had previously seemed. And I realized pretty quickly I could get away with more also. I was like, oh, you need 30 minutes to go to the bathroom? Take it, it's fine. And let's see. And so I think adults treated me very differently. And the kids in my 4th and 5th grade classes, I think at first, the first couple weeks, it was a big thing and everyone was really nice. And then they realized that I'm the same, and it was not a huge difference, and I had a lot of the same friends, and I think the kids adjusted way more quickly to me being in a chair than the adults. Okay, my question for you was, when I was injured at age 10, what was the scariest part of becoming a parent to a child with a disability?
The scariest part, I think, because you could walk on one day and then suddenly not walk on the next day. What we were faced with was, do we focus all of our energy on therapies or surgeries or whatever to make you walk again, or did we accept what was and encourage you to be who you are and to accept yourself as you are, and let you continue being a kid and experience life as, using the wheelchair. And that was hard, because what I had to do then was think, okay, when you become an adult, are you going to look back and say, why didn't you do everything you could to help me heal? Why didn't you, take me to this intensive therapy? Why didn't you look into these different surgeries for me? Why didn't you do that? Or were you going to look back and say, why did you put me through that? Why did you make me go through all of that therapy and and rob me of a childhood because all you wanted was for me to walk again, And I think that was the most difficult question for me and your dad. And we ultimately came to the decision of, you have one childhood, and it's ultimately most important that you accept yourself the way you are, and that, and that's what we wanted for you. So that was the hardest part. Now I have to remember my question. Okay, in all of our travels, what is the craziest thing someone has said to you? And maybe we weren't even traveling. Maybe it was, in the supermarket or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the craziest thing that someone has said to you that you just wish they had a clue?
There is a lot of instances. One of the most recent was when I was at an airport and 2 people came up to me asking if they could pray for me, which is fine if they want to do that, and I was in a mood where I felt like I could be nice and and handle that, and so it was two young people, a boy and a girl, and they asked if we could hold hands, so we were holding hands, and then they prayed, and it was very sweet. It was from like their heart. It was kind. But then afterwards, they're like, okay, now that we prayed for you to be healed, can you stand? Can you try and get up out of your chair? And I was like, what? You want me to do what? And they're like, here, we'll help you. We're like, give us your arms and we'll try and help you stand. And I just was like, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna fall. No, I just kind of was like, no, thank you. I'm just gonna leave now. And I kind of booked it out of there because that's just not how disability works. And so I think that's one of my most recent circumstances where I was just blown away by some perceptions of different people.
So even after 15 years of using the wheelchair, then somebody came up to you and you still have those experiences?
Oh yeah. I mean, a few times a year, especially when traveling. Yeah, it's pretty common. Yeah. Okay, my last question is, after I was injured, what do you think was the most important thing, what did you think was the most important thing for me to learn?
After your injury, most important thing for you to learn, to accept yourself. To not always think, I need to be healed, and when I'm healed, I'm whole. To just, to love yourself. That was easy. That was easy. All right, so my question is, this is an easy one, maybe. Of all the places we've been to a lot of places, most accessible. What is the most accessible? Maybe the place that you were surprised that it was so accessible.
I think Barcelona. I really think that's one of the most accessible places I've been. I just was blown away that I had better beach access than any place in Florida that I've been to. I had a whole long ramp where I could go all the way to the water down the sand. They had accessible beach showers that I could transfer to a bench and get all the sand off and wash my chair, which was amazing. They had those accessible grocery carts, which was really cool.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was really easy to use public transportation there. I don't remember getting stuck on any subways from the stairs or the elevators being broken. But I think it's a close tie with London. London was also very accessible in my opinion. And something I thought was going to be accessible but really wasn't was Copenhagen, because I thought since it's such a big biking city, there would be lots of like wheel-friendly places and easy ways to get around. That's not true. Bikes and wheelchairs are very different. Is what I learned on that trip. And just because it's bike-friendly does not mean it's wheelchair-friendly.
Interesting. Good.
I think that's it.
I think so.
Thanks for watching.
If you have any questions, go ahead and you can post them when we eventually get a YouTube channel.
Exactly.
And you can post them and then we'll add them to our questions when we do more videos. So thanks for watching.